Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Tuesday, August 26th. And overnight, a little bit of weakness going on there. Yesterday's trading we're looking at that potential continuation from Friday's little pop, but it turns out to be a little bit more weak. There's just weakness, barely holding on. And then the overnight, you got even more weakness. They retraced pretty much the whole thing, and then down here to the 64.30s, tested that, bounced off it. Overnight or the London session is also kind of weak. It looks to me like we are slowly retracing a little over exuberance here, head back to value again. That's kind of what it looks like. Now, news this morning, we have durable goods at 8:30, Fed speaker. At 9 o'clock, we get housing data, case-yield and FHFA. And then at 10 o'clock, we get consumer confidence and Richmond Fed manufacturing. So we have news at 8:30, 9, and 10. And that's about a 2-year auction at 1. So that's what we have on tap for today. I don't think any, maybe consumer confidence is going to move the market a bit. Maybe durable goods. Durable goods could be a good number too, depending on how it comes in. But I think the market is also holding on, bracing a little bit for Wednesday. I think Nvidia reports earnings tomorrow. And that could set the market off up or down in a big way, at least the NASDAQ, and that's going to drag everything with it. So at this point, I'm just going to start off range bound. This bias to the upside I had started off yesterday. It's kind of gone. It's pretty much backing off here. So starting off range bound, looking to sell strength, buy weakness, and then let's see if we get some strength or if they're going to try to retrace further. So initially, I'm looking to buy weakness at the 64.35s, the 30s down to the 15s for rotations back up. I'm going to sell strength, 64.55s, 60s, 70s up to the 80s for rotations back down. If it starts trading above 80s, I'm going to be back on the long side. If it starts trading below 15s, I'm going to be just leaning on the short side. Otherwise, I think this range is the initial range I'm starting in. And then we'll see pretty much how the day shakes out, if the news is going to be such that we get some sort of a directional move, or if it's just going to be more of a range bound day, slowly grinding to the downside. I mean I was almost going to start with a slight bias to the downside, but you never know. Yes, never know. This move on Friday could certainly get kicked back in gear again. It's they're bad, but they are backing off right now. So I would not be surprised if we see some more weakness here going into today's session. But I'm going to start off flat out range bound, and let's see how the market develops. So looking to buy against the 64.35s, 30s down to the 15s. I'm going to sell strength 64.55s, 60s, 70s up to the 80s for rotations and back and down again. And that's how we get started. Volume wise, we are looking at about 160,000 MES. That's pretty good. 130,000 ES. So volume is a little bit to the upside, so it's not completely quiet. Now we're getting into Labor Day weekend. I think Labor Day is on Monday, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, it is. So Labor Day is on Mondays. It's going to be an odd trading day. I have to look up the schedule for that one. But this week is the last full week. The next week is going to be a short week. Labor Day on Monday. There probably is going to be a few people bugging out that week. All right, back to looking at the Nasdaq and the bonds. So bond market trading back up again. They were flopping around a little bit here in the overnight. Pretty much range bound trading. It's been that way for a while now. I would just start off range bound, looking to sell 114.20s, 25s, 115s up to the 1505s. They're going to buy weakness against the 1412s, 1408s, or 30 or 114s down to that 1324s for rotations back down. So pretty much staying in that same range as yesterday. If it trades below the 24s, we may have a potential move to the downside. That's 113.24. If the trade above the 1504s, I think we may have a move to the upside happening, but it hasn't been a lot of direction moves going on the bull market for a while now. So pretty much pretty stable it's been for quite a while. Nasdaq though is backed off pretty good. You see here Friday's move to the upside. Um, Slowly grinding lower overnight, down here reverse retesting 360s, and I would start off the same way. Range bound on the Nasdaq, looking to buy weakness, sell strength, watching these lower area here at the 23,200, 23,000 to 23 to 200, this lower support area that comes out. It could get ugly. If they can get up above this area, the 23 650 to 700s, this general area, then I think we may have a shot at trading back up. Still have to clear that 23 800 before we really start kicking in gear, but I would just start off range bound on the Nasdaq as well, and then see if we can get some strength, or they're going to try to retrace this further. So, and Nasdaq is the one which is going to be really exposed to Nvidia earnings coming out on Wednesday. So, so goes Nvidia, so goes the market. Is kind of the saying out there, and it could be a spectacular earnings, and you can still see a sell off. It's going to the that rumor fact, the dynamic versus how good the earnings need to be. It's anyone's guess how the reaction is going to be. If you see them buying up the stock going into the news, I would expect a pullback. Buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of dynamic. But we'll see. Sometimes they surprise so much that the market just keeps going. We'll see. So looking on the Nasdaq to buy against the 420s, the 360s down to that 310s for rotations back up. They're going to sell strength at 23 500s, 550s, 600s up to that 650 for rotations back down. That's pretty much straight up what we're going to do. And if they already retraced the single print C's already down here, reverse retested that, so that's kind of done. That trade is gone, but it's if they start heading lower, could be a nice move to the downside here, setting up. But right now, I'm not going to just count on it. We'll see how it develops. So, and if you see early morning weakness when they start running it hard, I would potentially try a short trade. Just don't sell into support. That's the only thing you had to watch for. Easy to do when you get stuck staring at the screen, get selling right into the support area and then finding yourself just getting stuck. But anyway, so range bound ES, range bound Nasdaq. Let's see how this whole thing develops as the day progresses. And then finally, oil and gold. So oil and gold. Gold to get started. I would start off with a slight bias to the upside there, and they've been holding on to the gains pretty good. I was expecting them to trade back down below that the 34.15s here, but they're kind of holding on to it. We had one probe in the overnight down here at the 33.95, and that was it. And they reversed it hard and have not looked back since. So I would start off with a slight bias to the upside on gold, and then see if they can keep extending. So I would look initially to buy against the aggressive would be 34.20s, then 34.15 or 34.13 to 14s down to that 34.06s. Below 06, I would start thinking retracement trade again. But looking to buy against these three support areas for rotations back up is kind of what I would start with on gold. And I mean, they're clearing the area pretty well so that they can start heading up here towards that 34.50s. So that if they clear that 34.50s, bets are off. We are back. It's going to be back flirting with the highs in no time. So that's how we get started on gold. And then on oil, okay, backing off a bit. So oil is not backing off pretty good from the little move up here the other day. So they're still pretty much trading in the range. Let me see my capital flow on oil. So this guy saw they just backed off, heading back down here again. So they were up here flirting with this right up to this little attractor and then bounced right back down again. So oil is still range bound, no attempt to take it higher. Just trading in this range back and forth to move higher based on some short-term news or something, and then knock it right back down again. So I would start off range bound on oil. If anything, maybe keep a slight bias to the upside until they take out this area here, the 63.60s. We are pretty much down here now at that lower area. So if this lower area comes out, I would just stay on the short side and see. I would go back range bound, looking for a more retracement trade, not necessarily leaning short, but at that point, I think there may be more weakness to be had. But if they hold support here at the 63.60, maybe down to that 63.30s, these two support areas, then we may have a shot at staying range bound, maybe even trade back up again. But we'll see. They are pretty much back in this right in the middle of this little volume range right now. So I would not be surprised if we may see a little bit of weakness down here to the 62.30s, maybe 62s, and then trade back up to value again. But we'll see. At this point, there's still a potential buying opportunity at the 63.60s for rotations back up again. We'll see how that shakes out. All right, so that's oil and gold. Wrapping it, running through it a little bit quick, but it's not much stuff to talk about, to be honest with you. It's it's still summertime, and news-wise, well, not news to potentially drive the market, but we'll see if the fallout from that Jackson Hole speech still may still have effect on the market, or if they're going to try to retrace this further. So that's, I think, is still the outstanding question. And then we're coming up for tomorrow's Nvidia earnings and see how the Nasdaq or Nvidia reacts going into that number. All right, guys, we'll leave it there for now. I'll say good trading, and I will see you back at 11:30 for the next update. All right, guys, later.